what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right. What is it, Tuesday night already? How is this happening? Hope everybody's having a good start to the week. It is Radio Baloney Live, Tuesday night. I am your host, Richie Baloney. Hello, everybody out there. How are you tonight? How are you all doing tonight? Hello, Spambot Fodder. Hello, Jesse. Hello, Turtles. Hello, JJ. Hello, Izzy. How you guys all doing? Let's see. Miles Buckley. Is that Spambot over on what's it called again? The other thing from Rumble? Locals. I think that is. Chat test number 2. It works. Apparently it works. How's everybody doing? Let's see. All right. You know what? First, we'll just quickly do the menu. We'll do the menu. What are we going over tonight? And then we'll get back into the chat for a minute, then we'll get started. First off, San Francisco hires overweight, fat activist to give guidance on weight stigma. So, her. I don't know. Let's bring back stigma. Let's bring back shame. She could use some, I think. I don't think it would hurt. I don't think it would hurt at all. I think we need a good, healthy dose of it. We need like every Western country needs a national shame program. We just hire people to like randomly find people and shame them and stigmatize them. I think the world was a lot better when we used to do that sort of thing. We're going to take a look at this. We're going to look at, sexuality studies is what this person studied. We'll get into the details. It's going to be hilarious and weird and gross. Let's see. We're going to talk about the New Jersey drone. So what we're hearing now is from the Daily Mail here that uncovered files reveal secret operation at the center of drone invasion and why the White House can't deny it. What they're saying is that it's a government program. It's actually been public for a while and no big deal. So we'll go through that. I don't know why somebody wouldn't just say this. Apparently it's been going on for years. I don't know why somebody wouldn't just say it, just kind of put an end to all the speculation, but we'll take a look at this. How about this? Disney's Pixar cuts trans storyline. Well, that doesn't seem like something Disney would do, but Disney's Pixar cuts trans storyline from upcoming series, says parents would rather discuss issue, quote, on their own terms. On their own terms. What is happening? That sounds totally sane. That sounds utterly, totally sane and reasonable. From Disney? What? Huh? So I guess they're changing their tune. I guess the whole losing insane amounts of money has forced them to reconsider their position. Let's see. What do we got here? We got Pierre Poilievre. There's a really great speech. It's long. It's like 5 minutes and 41 seconds from Parliament. And it's actually a really amazing speech. So we'll watch the whole thing. It's fantastic. We've got some other stuff from him as well. This is a guy who will be replacing Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau. Or as Trump calls him, Justin Trugina. They call him the Trugina because he's a vagina, like China. Anyway, we'll also see Justin Trugina as well. Here he is at the Liberal Christmas party, although I think they call it a holiday party because white supremacy or something like that, colonialism, something. I don't know. He's just look at him. Look, everybody wants him to leave, and look at him. Look at the expression on his face. That is a look of pure evil there. Pure evil. But we'll get into that. Let's see. We've got a meme here about Trudeau, which I think you guys are going to. In fact, let's just look at it now. People will come in later. We can show it again. I just think it's hilarious. Our deficit is $62 billion. So you're resigning, right? Bah! That is hilarious. That's Trudeau. That's perfect Trudeau. I love these Star Wars memes. They're hilarious. Let's see. We already saw that one. I guess this is the real question. Will he transition after he's out of office? I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. Let's see. What do we got here? So we'll talk about Christian Freeland briefly here. I don't want to speak too much more about her because we've got, holy jeez, 14 people detained for home invasion in the same apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado that Trenda Aragua gang members took over. Democrats told us this wasn't happening. They just went right through the cycle, didn't they? They went right through the cycle. It's not happening. Well, it is. It's not really happening much. And then did they go to it's happening, but it's a good thing? I think they just decided to ignore it. Once they got to the part of, well, it is happening, but it's not happening that much. And then it turned out it was happening a lot. And then they just kind of went quiet about it. And here you go. Do they want everybody miserable and terrorized and dead? It seems kind of like it. Let's see. We've got Trump here. So all the big tech people, he's had dinner with Sundar and Sergey Brin, Sundar Pichai. Mark Zuckerberg, obviously he's tight with Elon. Dinner with Tim Cook. Big tech suddenly loves Donald Trump. What's going on? I wonder if big tech just got so sick of the Frankenstein's monster they created within their own companies, the woke Frankenstein's monster that they created, that they're just like, oh, fuck all that shit now. No, now we're just gonna do business. Trump's a businessman. We just like him better anyway. At least he's not a pussy. Let's see. So undercover video from National Security Council advisor inside the White House details Biden. So this is O'Keefe Media. So James O'Keefe's O'Keefe Media Group. He keeps getting these undercover things. If these people, if they're involved in anything government wise, if they meet anybody on a dating website, just assume that it's either James O'Keefe or he sent the person. Just assume that, because he just keeps getting these where they just admit these things over and over again. It's incredible. He's doing a hell of a job. All right. Then we got the last tab, which is just the kind of random stuff. So we got some memes in here. Usually we got some dingbats in here. We got lots of kind of mixed up news. There's still lots of politics in here. Here's this guy, the mayor of Portland, who's complaining about the people that he let take over his town weren't very nice to him. The revolutionary communist scumbags that he allowed to take over Portland weren't very nice to him. I guess he expected something better. I don't know. I think he got what he deserves, really. Got some Elon in here. We got here, he's admitting he's kind of turned around on Trump. It's just amazing. All this stuff. We got animals, of course. Look at that guy. They're going to hang out and have some lunch. It's nice. Lots of dingbats, hairy armpits for ladies. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't approve. Kevin O'Leary. You guys always enjoy that. All right. So we got lots and 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 lots of stuff coming up. Hopefully it won't take too long. Of course, when we need a break, a palate cleanser from the news, we can watch the cooking shows, noodles, sandwiches, bruschetta, and of course, making cocktails. All right, everybody, let's get to the chat quickly before we move on. Let's see. Nevada says, hanging out with the trash tonight. The trash. Well, I think that's a term of endearment, isn't it, for us? Let's see. Izzy actually got notified before the show started this time. Very well indeed. Spambot fodder, that was Spambot on locals. Let's see. All right. Rumbum says, radio, I can't stop smiling since yesterday. Feels like I want feels as a kid getting an early Christmas present. Well, Trudeau's still hanging around. I know we're all like, holy crap, this is a stake through his heart. He's got to step down now. Although I don't want him to step down. I want him to go down in flames. I just want an election now, as soon as possible, before Jugmeat's pension comes through. That would be beautiful. That would be poetic justice. If he just completely destroyed his integrity and humiliated himself for Mother Trudeau, and then still didn't end up getting his pension in the end anyway. But here's the thing, he'd have to vote no confidence to get that, and he's not going to. It's in his hands whether or not he gets that pension or not, and whether or not an election happens. And yeah, he'll wait. And one of his spokespeople said, "Oh yeah, well, it would be at late February at the earliest." Well, I believe it's is it the 25th of February that Jugmeat gets his pension? So yeah, but still a lot better than October. Let's see. Izzy says, "True China has to go. Can't wait for the polls to open." I know. It's going to feel good. Every single person that hates him is going to feel so good just doing their own little part, knowing that it's going to contribute to Trudeau going down in just a disastrous mess. He's going to plummet to earth with a massive explosion. It's just going to be a total disaster train wreck. It's going to be just a massive loss, historic loss for him. And we all want to know that he has to wake up in the morning and look at the paper and see catastrophic loss. Liberal Party destroyed. We all want that satisfaction. So I don't want him to resign. I want an election. Let's see. As he says, O'Keefe is a honeypot. As a honeypot is best O'Keefe. Yep. Let's see. As he says, him and Matt Walsh, masters of disguise with as little as a pair of glasses. I know, it's hilarious, right? The same thing with O'Keefe. He just puts a pair of glasses on. All right. Well, let's get started, everybody. What are we doing? What the hell is going on? All right. San Francisco hires overweight fat activist to give guidance on weight stigma. So she's going to be giving people guidance on weight stigma. I wonder if this is a totally counterproductive waste of money. I wonder. I'm working with a team at the San Francisco Department of Public Health as a consultant on weight stigma and weight neutrality. She needs a consultant on weight to tell her that she's got too much of it. All right. Virgie Tovar, 42, is dedicated to the fight against weight discrimination and dieting. I think weight discrimination is when you're too fat to fit through the door. I think that counts, right? Or you're too fat for the airplane. The fight against weight discrimination and dieting. Why are you fighting against dieting exactly? Like what? I can't remain silent as long as a single person is trying to lose weight, is trying to be healthier. What? Is that what weight discrimination? Is that when all you can eat isn't really all you can eat? Like you can't actually eat as many deep fried prawns as you want? It says all you can eat. All right. An overweight, fat activist. What reality are we living in where such things exist, where fat activists exist? This is all stuff that was just comedy. This was been from, skits on SNL or SCTV or, Mad TV or something years ago. Fat activist, everybody would have recognized immediately that is as being a joke character. But apparently this is all super normal now. An overweight fat activist disclosed that she had been hired by the city of San Francisco, where else, to provide guidance on the prevention of weight stigma. Again, that's when you're too fat to fit through the door. On Monday, Virgie Tovar reported the news to her more than 82,000 followers on Instagram. 82,000 followers on Instagram. Why? This comes after California Governor Gavin Newsom announced the state's own version of Doge. President-elect Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency. So this is San Francisco. This is California. And they're hiring a fat activist to work on weight stigma. Right at the same time that Gavin Newsom is announcing his own version of Department of Government Efficiency. So maybe his goal is to get rid of everything useful and efficient and only have stuff like weight stigma. I don't know, like fat activists, solving the riddle of a weight stigma. Tovar, 42, wrote in the Post, I'm working with a team at the San Francisco Department of Public Health as a consultant on weight stigma and weight neutrality. What's weight neutrality? She added, I'm unbelievably proud to serve the city I've called home for almost 20 years in this way. I bet she can't believe they're actually giving her money. This consultancy is an absolute dream come true, and it's my biggest hope and belief that weight neutrality will be the future of public health. So what can this possibly mean, weight neutrality? Is it just like it doesn't matter how fat you are? Because already it's kind of like that. Like the law is neutral, right? The law doesn't care how fat you are or how thin, or it doesn't care if you're anorexic. It doesn't care if you're morbidly obese. Seems to be the only way it would actually really matter, right? Something tells me she had to buy 2 seats on a plane, and that's where all this started. Tovar, who has a master's degree in sexuality studies from San Francisco State University. If she's got a degree in sexuality studies, then how does that qualify her to do fat things? Like talk about how it's good for people to be fat for San Francisco. I don't really understand this. But she's an activist who is dedicated to the fight against weight discrimination and dieting. The Blaze reported she is the author of several books, such as You Have the Right. This is beautiful. You have the right to remain fat. Beautiful. Let me just repeat that. You have the right to remain fat. You can't make this up. And the self-love revolution. Radical body positivity for girls of color. Okay. All right. So the book, You Have the Right to Remain Fat. I actually pulled this up earlier and I can't stop laughing because it's so dumb. Let's see. It's ironically hilarious. Sexuality studies. Let's first go to sexuality studies. What is that? Sexuality studies provide students with knowledge about the processes and variations in sexual functions and reproduction, intimate relationships, sexual and gender role development, and behavior, and the social, cultural, historical, and moral contexts of sex and love. Huh.
Oh, a bullshit artist.
Let's see. What does any of this mean? None of these things ever seem to plainly mean anything, right? Like variations in sexual functions and intimate relationships, variations in gender role development and behavior. These are all just a bunch of abstractions, it seems to me. I mean, this isn't a biology course. So they're talking about processes and variations in sexual functions and reproduction. This ain't a biology course, and I've got a feeling that biology is probably outlawed. It's ixnay on the biology, ixnay on the reality in courses like these. So I don't know what any of this actually means. Let's see. The minor program in queer and trans studies intends to delineate, very important to delineate and analyze meanings that have been associated with homosexuality in various artistic, biological, cultural, educational, ethical, historical, and literary contexts, and to examine the related issues of mixed gender and cross-gender roles and practices. So that doesn't mean anything. It's just all bullshit. Delineate and analyze meanings that have been associated with homosexuality and various blah, 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 historical, literary, blah. What does any of that mean? What does analyze meanings mean? I mean, I cannot see like analyze descriptions, but analyze meanings. None of this makes any sense at all. It just seems it's just made up. It's just made up for people with no actual expertise in anything to have a job. Because it all just feels made up as they go along, doesn't it? Right? This seems like pointless nonsense to me, and I'm absolutely certain that it is. Examine the related issues of mixed gender and cross-gender roles and practices and delineating them and analyzing meanings. So absolutely nothing of any real value or utility whatsoever. And again, where's the fat part of this? I don't see any fat in here. And shouldn't that be important if she's going to do the fat stigma? She's a fat activist with the fat stigma. Shouldn't that be kind of important? I mean, she's not even qualified to bullshit in her bullshit job. She's not even qualified to spout made up bullshit from her made up bullshit degree in her made up bullshit job. And that, my friends, is equity. Bring back stigma. Bring back shame. I would go so far as to say the city of Seattle should be hiring people to specifically shame and stigmatize this woman. Please do that. I think she'd be better off. She'd be better off than what she's doing right now, which is telling people to be unhealthy and to die early, right? She wrote a book, though. Where's that book? It's the, what was it called again? You Have the Right to Remain Fat. Absolutely beautiful. Here it is. You Have the Right to Remain Fat. Google Books. Let's see. Feminist Press at CUNY. Super surprising. So let's see here. Do you know what the funny thing is here? It almost looks like she's kind of photoshopped it a little bit because she's not as fat in this picture of her. Of course, she's on the cover of the book of You Have the Right to Remain Fat. It's probably just her complaining about being fat the whole time. Or, I don't know, seats aren't comfortable enough because of colonization or something. Or white supremacy. Because look here. Look, this is her here. She's fatter. She's way fatter than she is on the cover of that book. That always makes me wonder what's going on there. What's going on there? She made herself look less fat on the cover of her You Have the Right to Remain Fat. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that for sure. It just looks like that to me. Let's see. In this bold new book, Tovar eviscerates diet culture, proclaims the joyous possibilities of fatness. Maybe we should rewrite that. Hold on. Proclaims the joyous possibilities of diabetes and shows us that liberation is possible. What does liberation mean in any of these contexts? Like, it's not like liberating France from the Nazis. It's different than that for sure, right? Or liberating, like liberating Belgium, right? Like, it's different from that for sure. Not the same thing. What context they use? Well, the context that use liberation and the left does, it doesn't seem to have any connection to what we all assumed the word liberation meant. Liberation from what? Liberation from exercise? Like liberation from vegetables? What are they talking about here? It's all part of this aggrandizing themselves for being lazy and undisciplined. That's it. And look, I'm lazy and undisciplined too. I need to lose some weight. I mean, I'm not, morbidly obese. I can tell you that. But there's not really anything glorious in what I'm doing, right? Need to exercise more, need to eat a little better. There's not a glory in that. There's nothing to be proud of, right? I don't need to be liberated from exercising a more. I don't need to be liberated from exercising more. I feel better when I do it. I mean, what else can it mean? Liberation is possible. Liberation from what? It's not like an occupying force, right? It's liberation from standards. I guess that's it. Just liberation from standards, right? And that's what this stigmatization is about. Any standard is stigmatization and shame, and then that's colonialism or white supremacy or something. It's bad though. Anyway, I'm really tired right now. Oh, I got sweaty just walking to the door to pick up the skip the dishes. I need more liberation. I don't know. What's going on here? What do you think? Growing up as a fat girl, Virgie Tovar believed that her body was something to be fixed, and she was right. I don't know who disabused her of that very real notion, but they should be ashamed of themselves. After 2 decades of dieting and constant guilt, she was over it and gave herself the freedom to trust her own body again. And what does that even mean? Trust your own body? Well, I don't know. I mean, if you get heart palpitations from walking up a flight of stairs, maybe you should trust that, right? And say, "Oh, my body's trying to tell me something. My body's trying to tell me maybe I shouldn't have had that last pound of bacon this morning." And here's another thing: if you smell like bacon all the time, you're eating too much bacon. Although I love bacon. Trust your own body again. I mean, what, like voices in her head or voices in her head telling her something? No, you're not fat enough, in fact. No, you should be more fat. Because maybe that's just mental illness at that point. I don't know. Ever since she's been helping others do the same, Tovar is hungry. You bet she is. Tovar is hungry for a world where bodies are valued equally. That's never going to happen. Like, that's never like, what are you talking about? Beauty standards? Sorry, we're not all born equally that way. I wasn't born Brad Pitt, just the way it is, right? I have to live with that. Okay, I have to live with not being Robert Redford. All right, it's just the way it is. It's not, doesn't mean the world is wrong. Doesn't mean that nature is wrong. That's just the way it is. What you can do is try to maximize what you've got. And you know what? For the vast majority of people, that works out just fine. Works out just great, right? Tovar is hungry for a world where bodies are valued equally. Is she talking about cannibalism there? I don't know. She's hungry. Food is free from moral judgment. Is it really a moral judgment, though, when you just say, hey, maybe you shouldn't gulp down that 2 liter of Coke? Like, is that moral judgment or is it just common sense? And you can jiggle through life with respect. Well, you can tell yourself that's what you're doing. In concise and candid language, she delves into unlearning fat phobia. Unlearning fat phobia, dismantling sexist notions of fashion. It's all things she has problems with here. And how to reject diet culture's greatest lie. That fat people need to wait. Okay, we don't need to see any more of this. It's all just self-serving, self-delusional gibberish and nonsense. This is all just there to excuse people indulging their worst selves. That's it. It's all just narcissism and delusion. Yeah, I don't know. This is just dumb. It's just also stupid. You can't believe it's actually real. Like that a city at San Francisco would hire somebody to just spout this self-serving gibberish. Counterproductive for everybody, including herself. Gibberish. Let's see. Tovar posted on her Instagram that in recent years she has gone no contact with her family. It's the cult. It's the cult. No contact with anybody who's not already in the cult. Her page is filled with content about how to throw size-inclusive holiday parties. The problem with the diet drug Ozempic and commentaries on the politics of fatness, everything's political. But really, it all comes down to, I mean, the whole thing, this whole discipline that she's engaged in, she's got her degree with and everything, all of it is just, I don't want to do stuff. Like, all of it is, well, I don't want to go for a walk. The whole thing is just, nah, I do feel like having that second liter of ice cream. That's the whole thing. That's the whole fat studies thing. And that's not even her thing, by the way. She has a degree in what? Sexuality studies. Although I'm sure that most of the people involved in that with sexuality studies are also fat, so maybe that's how it works. Anyway, pretty dumb. Did I have anything written down for this one? Oh yeah, she said it's a dream come true, right? She said it was a dream come true to get this job, right? So getting paid for being lazy and just making it up as she goes along, which is what that's what all of these grievance people do. The grievance studies, it's all just making it up as you go along, as long as it feels like it's going in a progressive direction and nothing in it suggests that you should take any personal responsibility whatsoever. That's why it's so bad for Western civilization. I mean, everything the modern left does is destructive to individuals and then in turn to society, because you've got a bunch of dysfunctional individuals making up your society. It's not good. I mean, here's the thing. Complain about healthcare costs? How about this? How about getting rid of fat stigma and weight neutrality? How about that? Because obesity, especially morbid obesity, is very expensive. It costs a lot of money for medical care because you're going to need a lot of it. It certainly accounts for some part of it, right? And then that would require some modicum of personal, or just even a concept of personal responsibility. That it's not that every slight inconvenience to you isn't the world's fault. It's the world oppressing you and persecuting you. But the airlines are persecuting you by not having 6 foot wide seats. Every seat is 6 feet wide. They're persecuting you. And that's not an accident. They just didn't do that by accident. They knew what they were doing. Anyway, it's all just totally retarded. Anyway, that rant over with. Let's get to the chat, shall we? 34 minutes in. What the hell's going on? All right. What do we got going on here? Man, there's a lot of chat going on. Let's see. Brain Biscuit, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Says, oh God, Virgie Tovar, she's one of the cringiest fat activists. So I'd never heard of her before. So I guess maybe she's a well-known fat activist, I guess. Let's see. Spambot Fodder comments, eye bleach needed. Eye bleach needed. Let's see. Let's see. Brain Biscuit says True Gina becomes True Neo Vagina. Well, technically, after he gets his sex change operation, yeah, that technically will be true. That's probably what will go in the medical textbooks. Let's see. Rumbum says, more like she's against having discipline and respecting herself. Yeah. Brain Biscuit says, I prefer my fat activists to be svelte and muscular. You're not allowed to be a fat activist if you're not fat. That's the thing. I'm pretty sure. Like, they won't pass you in the university courses because you won't have had the lived experience, probably. I don't know. That would be funny, though. Let's see. Rosie, how you doing, Rosie? Good to see ya. Yeah, joining in the middle of the fat activist ridiculousness is yucky. It is indeed. I'm sorry to do that to you. Let's see. Izzy says weight stigma should be about reminding people frequently that their weight is killing them. Absolutely. Doctors should be doing that. I mean, I wonder, are doctors scared to tell the truth to their patients now because they're worried they might get reported or sued or something? Let's see. Rumbub says Cali is like a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, except not fun and super toxic. Let's see. Let's see. Spambot Fodder says, so 82,000 folks are probably running a pool on when she'll expire due to a heart attack. Either that or they have a morbid sense of curiosity, or both. I think you may be right there. Izzy says, every major weight influencer has died early. I've seen a bunch of reports of that this year, actually, of these. And like the mukbang people, the people that like, they just eat huge, disgusting amounts of food on camera and people pay them to do it. I think there's a couple of those that have died recently, young too, like very young. Rosie says, master's in sexuality studies. And what does one do to earn this master's? Just wondering. You make up bullshit is what, I guess, and just generally gross things. Let's see. Spambuff Fodder said, I almost hit the dislike button in disgust. Don't do that. I think sometimes people press, I'm not talking about you guys, I'm talking about my regular videos I put out. I think sometimes people press dislike because they don't like what the video's about, but it's not that they dislike the video, they just don't like the subject, or they disapprove of, like, if it's like Biden selling the border wall, somebody might press dislike because they dislike him selling the border wall, but then, you see, that's not good for me, so don't do that. I know you guys don't do it. All right, let me skip to the end here. Let's see. We got J-Ham in the chat. Good to see ya. See, we got Turtles in there as well. Good to see ya. Let's see. Let's see. J-Ham says, Einstein said that time slows down near massive objects. Apparently, rational thought slows down near massive objects too. That's a good one. Very good indeed. Let's see. As he says, they want to be celebrated for their poor choices. Yeah, they just don't want any self-accountability. So therefore, it must be the world's fault. Nevada says, get a cheap exercise bike and don't eat so much. It's like, when you look at this, I mean, like, I need to lose a few pounds. I'm not like that, right? But I should lose some weight. It's not like it's not like anybody thinks anybody has to be like cut and ripped with abs and everybody has to be. No, it's just like, don't make excuses for being morbidly obese, like grossly obese. Like, that's just clearly bad. That's just reality. Any doctor who's being honest will tell you that. It's just something we've always known forever, right? Like, don't pretend that it's a good thing. Like, people can do it. It's fine. Right? But just don't pretend it's a good thing or that everybody has to approve of it. Like, just actively be positively applauding you for it, because it's really not an accomplishment. And don't expect everybody to have to change everything for that. Let's see. Turtle said, my divorce diet did me wonders. I've been through a couple of divorce diets, and yeah, they really work. It's a good one. Rosie said, Richie, you are perfect the way your creator made you. We do not need another Brad Pitt or Robert Redford. You are the only one who applauds for all of us just because we say true China. And it is true. Neither Brad Pitt nor Robert Redford will ever applaud you putting in the chat the word or the name True China. But I do, which means I'm better than both of them. In fact, I'm going to give myself this. Hold on. There we go. That felt good, actually. Now I know how you guys feel when you get that. All right, let's get to the end here, then we'll move on with some more stories. POTUS George Kirby, how you doing? George, how you doing? Wow, that is an unfortunate looking woman. Yes, unfortunate's the word. All right. All right, let's move on. So what's going on here? Uncovered files reveal secret operation at center of drone invasion, and why White House can't deny it. Well, that sounds pretty dramatic, but official records show the Army has been developing and testing counter-terrorism drones in New Jersey for years amid claims of a government cover-up. A 2018 defense contract awarded $50 million to a private robotics company to develop craft capable of creating 3D maps of urban areas for a counter weapons of mass destruction program. The contract was given out by Army's Armament Research Development and Engineering Center, which is located at the Picatinny Arsenal in Rockaway, New Jersey, where mystery drones were first reported last month. So there have been drones. And again, I mean, is this real now? I mean, it's hard to believe anything these days. But this is something that kind of makes sense, though, right? Like, I think that a lot of people, myself included, thought, well, it's probably, government. It's probably testing some new technology. It's testing something, and that's what's being described here. Let's see. Meanwhile, documents show the Federal Aviation Administration issued an air restriction alert on November 21st, prohibiting flights over Picatinny Base for special security reasons through December 26. The White House has claimed the drone sightings, which coincidentally began on November 18th, are not a foreign adversary, pose no threat, and are not part of a U.S. military operation. Retired CIA intelligence officer Rudy Rodolfi told DailyMail.com, this is FAA notice. This FAA notice shows us drone testing is happening in the area. It's a warning for others to stay out of the area during those dates. While the nature of the testing isn't specified, it's most likely the testing of payloads related to reconnaissance, but it could be anything. They could be, they could be sniffing around for radiation. Who knows, right? So, and again, this is the Daily Mail is the only source I saw that's actually covering this. The only major newspaper that's kind of covering this or running this particular story. So I'm sure by tomorrow there'll be a bunch more. So, a private robotics company testing drones. I mean, what may have it's probably a combination of a bunch of things in terms of the panic around it, is that there were drones and then it kind of got out, and what's happening with all these drones. And then all of a sudden, because at nighttime, it's hard to tell what things are. I mean, the videos I saw, it was all stuff with flashing lights and stuff like you would get on in a helicopter or just a plane. So now everything becomes a drone. So, I mean, this all makes sense to me. I figured it was probably something like this. They're testing something. They're not giving, it's not saying here confirming the nature of the testing. It's not confirming that, but it could be, they could be sniffing around for something. Who knows? But that's the latest on the New Jersey drones. And let's see what you guys have to say about it. Let's see. Oh, hold on, you guys. Turtle says, yes, don't forget the balloons from China. Yeah, I never thought that this was a foreign thing. I mean, the balloon from China, the thing about that is you just throw it up and it will just float, right? Doesn't need any fuel or anything like that. It just goes. It's carried by the wind currents and goes where it's going to go. Let's see. We're getting really close to Christmas, aren't we? It's getting really close. It's like, what is it now? Like 8 days or something? Holy geez, 7 days. Steve Tollison says they knew it all along. They just used it as a distraction from the pardons and all the other stuff. They're doing it to sabotage the incoming administration. Well, yeah, distraction makes a lot of sense too, right? Because I mean, they did obviously they knew what this was. Now you could say, well, they didn't want to say anything because it's kind of a there's a national security or issue or something like that. They don't want other people knowing what their other countries knowing what they're doing or knowing what kind of technology they have, blah 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 blah. But I mean, they really could have just come out right at the start and said, no, no, it's just this. Like, here's the documents. Like, this is what's going on. It's 50 million private robotics company. Everybody just calm down. They could have just done that. But maybe they were just enjoying the distraction from the pardons, get everybody looking up into the sky. Would not put that past them. As he says, yeah, once people become part of the news, people start noticing, yeah. Let's see. Kirby says people can also be drones, like MSNBC viewers. Rosie says some sources saying it is a setup for a false flag. Well, they couldn't pull that off now. There's been too much news and speculation about it and everything. Let's see. Nevada says less than 5 weeks until Trump Day. I know. Pray for him. Pray for his safety. Powerful enemies. Let's see. Rosie says I have tasked my man-child in New Jersey with getting us first-person videos before Friday. Let's see. Jahab says the drones are part of the fat industrial complex, streamlining the delivery of fast food. Well, that's coming next, isn't it? And let's see. All right, let's move on to the next story because we're 50 minutes in. So what's going on here? Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to cut off the YouTube part of the stream now, and we're going to continue on with Rumble. We're 50 minutes in. Usually we go about an hour, but I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter this time. We always have to go shorter on YouTube than we do on Rumble just because of censorship problems and back-end stuff. So anybody watching on YouTube right now, please come over, join us on Rumble. Just join us. Just go over to that Rumble app. I'm sure you have it already. Join us over there. We're going to keep going. And, we can speak more freely over there as well, which is a really good thing. Because, we're not going to get censored for saying things that are perfectly legal and normal and sane. So if you're on YouTube right now, thank you very much for watching. You are loved. I want you to know that you are loved. But unfortunately, I wish I didn't have to, but I do have to cut it short over there. So please join us over on Rumble. If not, I'll see you on Friday night. Anyway, good night, you guys. There we go. There we go.